All right, everyone, ready to dive deep. Today, we're tackling chemical manufacturing quality technician. And let me tell you, this isn't just some vague job title. We're going in depth.
Yeah, this is the real deal. We're dissecting a whole career guide from RoleCatcher.com, plus their interview prep tools, even how their job search platform works, the whole 9 yards.
Seriously, if you're tired of those job descriptions that tell you nothing, this one's for you. So, chemical manufacturing quality technician. Sounds kind of intense, right? Like, are we making rocket fuel here?
Well, there's definitely some serious science involved.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is how this career path is really this cool blend. You need the chemistry knowledge, for sure,
Yeah.
but then it's all about these high-tech tools and environments.
Okay, so less mad scientists with bubbling beakers and more. What? Give us a visual.
Think of like computer-controlled systems, precise measurements, the works.
Wait, so no Bunsen burn. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Oh, sick.
But seriously, the RoleCatcher guide mentions stuff like computer-controlled machinery and systems. What's that look like in reality?
So imagine things like gas chromatography, spectrophotometry, right? These aren't just fancy words. They're tools these technicians use every day.
To do what, exactly? Break it down for us like we're back in Chemistry 101.
Basically, you're analyzing the composition of chemicals, making sure they're pure, that everything meets these super specific standards. It's all about quality control.
So instead of just mixing stuff together, you're making sure it's mixed perfectly.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But it's not just about knowing how to use the tech, right? The guide also kept mentioning critical thinking as super important.
Absolutely, and this is where it gets really interesting. Imagine you're looking at the data from, say, a batch of chemicals, and something's just a little bit off.
Uh-oh, sounds like a recipe for disaster.
That's where the critical thinking comes in. A chemical manufacturing quality technician, they need to be able to spot those inconsistencies, figure out what went wrong, maybe even suggest how to improve the process to prevent it from happening again.
So it's like being a detective, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving chemical mysteries. I like it.
Exactly. You're using your knowledge, your analytical skills to make sure everything runs smoothly.
And it sounds like the role itself changes as you gain experience, right? They actually broke down in the guide what a junior technician does versus a senior technician, which I thought was really helpful.
For sure. I mean, starting out, you're probably doing a lot of the hands-on testing, following those standard procedures. But as you move up, it becomes less about the day-to-day tasks and more about analyzing data, troubleshooting those really complex systems, understanding the bigger picture of how quality control works. It's pretty cool to see how it progresses.
And speaking of moving up, let's talk about actually landing one of these jobs. RoleCatcher has this whole section on interview prep, which seems like a game changer.
Oh yeah, it's not just some generic advice either. They have this massive database of interview questions. But here's the kicker. They're tailored to specific roles. So you're not trying to guess what a chemical manufacturing quality technician might get asked. You're seeing the real deal.
That's gotta be a lifesaver, especially if interviews make you nervous, like knowing what to expect. Huge. But how does it actually work?
So they've analyzed tons of interviews, right? Figured out what skills and experience employers really want to hear about. It's almost like having insider info, seeing what's important to the hiring managers.
Okay, I'm picturing like a cheat sheet for your interview, but totally legit.
Exactly. And because it's specific to the role, you can really focus on showcasing the right stuff. Like they might ask about your experience with quality control testing, how you handled the situation where something went wrong, maybe even your knowledge of safety regs in a chemical plant, that kind of thing.
So much better than trying to cram every possible science fact into your brain beforehand. This is about showing you can actually do the job.
Right. And on that note, we got to talk about their job search platform.
Yeah.
It's not just about prepping for the interview, it's finding the right opportunity in the first place.
Because, let's be real, sometimes job hunting feels impossible. You're updating your resume, scrolling through endless websites. It's a lot. How does RoleCatcher make that whole process easier?
Well, they have this AI-powered tool, right? And you upload your resume. But here's the cool part. It actually analyzes it based on the jobs you're interested in.
Hold on, their AI reads resumes, like understands what's on there.
Yep. It figures out the keywords, skills, all that, and compares it to what employers are looking for. Then it tells you how well you match up, even gives suggestions for improvement.
So it's like having an expert recruiter critique your resume before you even send it out. That's wild.
Exactly. Takes out the guesswork. But even with the best tools, some skills are just crucial in this field. Like we talked about critical thinking, but what else?
What comes to mind?
Attention to detail. I mean, you can't overstate that. You're responsible for accurate measurements. Even a small mistake can be a big deal.
Makes sense. What about personality? Like, are there certain traits that would make someone thrive in this kind of role?
Someone who's naturally curious, I think, who wants to know how things work, why they work. You have to be comfortable asking questions, challenging assumptions, looking for ways to improve things.
So it's not just about following a set of instructions, it's about constantly learning and pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. And because you're often on a team, communication's key.
Oh, for sure. Being able to explain your findings clearly, both talking and writing, that's got to be huge.
Definitely. And not just the technical stuff. Being able to work with people from all different backgrounds, that's important too.
So collaboration, those interpersonal skills, they matter as much as the science part.
100%. It's really this unique combination that makes a chemical manufacturing quality technician successful.
So we've talked about what the job is, how to prep for interviews, but what about the bigger picture? Like, where does this role fit into a whole career path?
Right. It's not just a stepping stone. It can really lead to some interesting places.
Give us some examples. What are the options?
Well, for someone starting out, that jump from junior technician to senior technician, that's common. More responsibility, maybe you're mentoring the newbies, things like that.
Okay, so if you like teaching, sharing what you know, that's a plus. What else?
From there, you could become a supervisor, even a quality assurance manager. Some people go that route. Others, they use the experience to pivot, maybe into a research-heavy role, or even focus on process improvement within their company. Lots of possibilities.
I like hearing that. It's not a dead end by any means. Speaking of different paths, we got to circle back to RoleCatcher's career compass thing. You mentioned it earlier. How does that work exactly?
Oh, yeah, that's a cool feature. So let's say you've been a chemical manufacturing quality technician for a few years, right? You're starting to think, what's next? You put your info into the career compass, skills, experience, what you're looking for in a job, all that.
And it spits out your dream job.
Well, not exactly. It analyzes everything, right? And then gives you these personalized recommendations.
Oh.
But it's not just random jobs. It's stuff you might actually be good at, maybe you haven't even thought of.
So instead of me aimlessly applying for anything remotely science-related, this gives me some direction. Gotcha.
Exactly. Like maybe it suggests looking into pharmaceuticals or environmental testing, fields where that quality control experience, that chemical analysis, it's super valuable.
It's like having a career counselor on speed dial, but way cheaper, I'm guessing. This is awesome. RoleCatcher's really gone all out for this field.
They definitely have. From those super in-depth guides to the AI stuff, it's clear they want to help people find the right fit. Not just any job, the right job.
And on that note, I think we've done a pretty good job breaking it all down today. Chemical manufacturing quality technician, it's a mouthful, but it's a career path with a lot to offer.
Totally agree. It takes precision, it takes thinking outside the box, and there's always something new to learn.
Exactly. So, if any of you listeners out there are even a little bit intrigued, check out RoleCatcher, explore what's out there. And until next time, remember, knowledge is power, especially in a field like this.